So Urbanetectonics, the name, right? It's a work of phonics, right? Every time that we would go to a marketing meeting to talk about, even just this past week, to talk about urbane tectonics, there's a conversation about the phonics of the name being able to enunciate urbane, long A, with an E, tectonics, right? Urbane tectonics. So why this complex or complexity of a name, urbane tectonics? Well, we put two words together. Urbane and tectonics are also French words. My husband and partner speaks French and is Cameroonian French, Parisian French. So we, him as an mechanical engineer, I as an architectural engineer, we came up with this name, urban, synonyms for urban being city, suave, center, central, and centralized. Urbane also being a synonym of that in French. The urban characteristics, of course, an area is like a density developed of human structures, region, a surrounding city, town, or suburb, functionally, role, size, and location, a place of supply, water, money, etc. Economics, education, social, civilization, transportation, waste control, connectivity, infrastructure, a name of statement, tourist destination, right? And some of the problems of the city center is sprawl, uncontrolled expansion of the urban areas away from the central focus. And so within an urban structure, the structure is concentric sectors, multiple nuclei, and the development into sprawl is a more complex society and social stratifications. And so the patterns evolve over time from that central corridor. And so we thought that that first word spoke to our personality, our service, and who we would like to become. And so some of the city characteristics are the flow of people, culture, goods, services, information, most concentrated in the most magnitude of activity within the city. That core is that major organization component. The requirements differ, the users differ, functions differ, and amenities differ. It's the hub and the heart, right? So that's that first word when we talk about urbane or urban in that enunciation. Then we have tectonics, which is the second half of urbane tectonics. Its synonyms mean builder, measuring constructs, framework overview, or construct mapping, synthetic framework, foundations, fabric, skeleton, fabricate, outline, structure, formations, and anatomy. And some of the tectonics characteristics are the earth structure or processes, plates, like a shell or stable formation, shifting, like a disruption, forces or movement, boundaries, divergent, convergent, constraints, collisions or risks, fault or a failure, problem, tectonics expressed some of the problems and issues that we'll be facing and how we might formulate those solutions around it. So urbane tectonics still, yeah, a work of phonics. And as a result of that, because of the enunciation, right, You get tongue-tied and your jaws get a little sore too. We looked at the name and decided that we didn't want to spend a lot of time on enunciation, on pronunciation, on what it mean, but we wanted to get straight to what we do. So that was with that decision birthed the BOMAC companies. BOMAC, 2 syllables, very simple. Everybody could get to it. Companies that realized that there was a lot going on within entity. Then we did the same with each division. It gave us an opportunity to represent and rebrand some of those service offerings. So you know exactly what we do right in the name. So UT Squared Design. BOMAC Construction, do construction. Hotel Bank Unlimited, hospitality. Mac Productions, multimedia. You know already in the name exactly what services those divisions or perform or what industry that they would align with. For selecting a name for your business entity, your organization, or your effort is very important, and thought does need to go into it, but don't overthink it. Don't have your folks overthinking it, right? It needs to roll all into the branding of what you do. And in 2004, when we named our entity Urbanetectonics, we had those definitions in mind. In 2019, we were able to, in 2018, 2019, we were able to rebrand what we meant by that. And that's where we began to pull out this idea of centralized constructs. In 2019, as we have developed our service offering, what we meant by centralized constructs began to evolve as well. And so we were able to express that in a new and fresh way. And so that birthed the single point of contact, centralized constructs, and our one service and project management evolved into a 10 core service over 12 industries. And so we began to create this business infrastructure around this centralized, this idea or this concept of centralization. Now there's big talk about decentralization. And so the journey continues.